And again, where we have vivid lightning, cannot detect a tornado now that it's getting dark here. But we're going to talk about the radar here. A couple of different areas of concern, one of which is again in the Bismarck area and also in Linton around Timbick with a tornado that was confirmed, just like this one on the north side of Bismarck. Confirmed tornado here in southwestern Burleigh County until there was a confirmed tornado. This tornado warning goes until 11 o'clock. At 10:25, just about 10 minutes ago, a confirmed tornado was located 8 miles north of Bismarck. It's moving southeast at approximately 10 miles per hour. Put a motion on this. Actually, we can just go to our velocity here for a second, and we can really make out now whether that's it. It could very well be. Let me turn the motion on here. And again, where you see the reds and the greens coming together, that is probably some AP or something like that right there. But we can see the circulation again on the east side of town, pretty evident to us. But again, I don't think this is anything right here. That could be something else. That could be some of the wind turbines or something of that nature, but it's not that. It's more or less to the east. If we zoom out a little bit here.
You're talking about over here with the strong winds. Yeah, this might be just some contamination.
That's what I'm thinking, of some sort here. So again, regardless of that, though, as we put a motion back on this, we can definitely see it. Where the arrow is here, the white arrow, there is definitely a circulation here. Damaging tornado is a possibility along with tennis ball size hail, as weather spotters have confirmed a tornado north of Bismarck. Okay, more on that in a moment, but we've also got a tornado warning in the Timbick area. Emmons County, a tornado warning, and this goes until 11 o'clock. A PDS tornado warning, meaning a particularly dangerous situation because this could be affecting Timbick. Again, Linton, don't let your guard down. The potential is definitely there for a tornado. We can see the circulation here. It's very, very evident. It's almost like it's stationary. Look at that.
Just rotating.
It's rotating about itself there. I mean, right on top or very close to US 83, not far from Linton. And now it's becoming even more dangerous despite being illuminated with lightning. However, it's nightfall now. And I did see a tornado photo from the Cannonball area across the river. So be mindful of that in the Morton County area, Sioux County area as well. Not that there's a tornado there, but we have been getting some tornado images coming from across the river looking toward the east. So once again, Emmons County, tornado warning until 11 o'clock Central Daylight Time. Definite, very tight circulation there. Back to Bismarck, Mandan. The circulation is not quite as tight. However, the radar is too close. So it's very hard to detect in town. Despite that, we can still see some circulation with the radar being pointing up, but quite ominous sky, that's for sure, with this possible circulation here now ending up to the basically going to the east side of Bismarck. Don't know if we have a confirmation of a tornado at this exact moment, but it's something we are keeping a close eye on. I'm going to turn the radar back on here, and again we can see where some of the higher returns are here for the radar.
And the hail likely staying to the northeast of Bismarck, heading towards Minokan and Sterling, though. You can really see that being pinpointed up to 2-inch.
That's a really strong hail core. That's on the north side here of this particular storm. So still, we do have a very large hail core, in fact, here.
The warning is for tennis ball size hail here in parts of Burleigh County, northeast of Bismarck.
123rd Avenue Northeast, 80th Street Northeast in that particular area. It looks like for sure, again, and let's check out the hail here. Also, just northeast of Linton, perhaps up to 2-inch diameter hail there, probably more like ping pongs, but again, a good possibility of that. All right, Luke, thank you for what you're doing there, working behind the scenes here. Okay, I'll go back here and we'll, obviously, a lot of lightning with this, but I'm going to turn on the motion of the radar. And again, on the backside of the system for the Timbick-Linton area, we do have a tornado warning for Emmons County until 11 o'clock. And again, the higher population area here in the Bismarck Metro, tornado warning also until 11 o'clock here. And that was also a confirmed tornado 8 miles north of Bismarck, moving southeast at 10 miles per hour. Okay, Jacob, do you want to add anything to that? And I'm going to turn the velocity back on.
Seems like the main tornado threat is going to stay to the northeast of downtown Bismarck. As you mentioned here, Kevin, identifying the area of circulation as it moved to the southeast towards the general direction of Minokin. So if you're in the Minokin area, you want to be in your tornado safe place. That would be an interior room away from windows at the lowest level of your house. The velocity data suggesting that there might be that couplet or the winds coming together in different directions to create spin in the lowest layer of the atmosphere right there to the northwest of Minokin. So we're watching that very closely, but also want to keep people in the Bismarck area aware of the situation that you may have received those tornado warning alerts. If you are in this polygon in the red outlined area, you do want to be in your safe location just in case that the tornado would track in that direction, since there was confirmation of it on the ground earlier to the north of Bismarck. But the greatest threat for tornado at this point would be to the east of the main metro over towards the Minokin area, kind of on the southern edge of where the highest returns are on radar. We can also identify that with the velocity mode, where winds are moving in different directions, spinning in a counterclockwise rotation right north of Minokin. Now we're getting a little bit of bad data here. That's what the purples that you see, because we're really, really close to the radar site. But the warning continues until 11 o'clock.
Can we go back to the Bismarck Skywatch?
Yes.
By chance, just so how vivid this lightning is. And again, we hear thunder in the studio as well. Almost non-stop lightning here. It's pretty impressive.
And there's been reports of lightning occurring even where it's not raining, because these thunderstorm clouds are so tall. The anvil, or the top of the clouds, can produce lightning, and that can strike a couple of miles away from where the heaviest rain or hail is.
That's so true, and that's why hopefully everything was okay at the McQuaid tournament tonight. I don't know if they postponed play. I'm not sure. I have not heard. But again, you don't want a large crowd of people when you got lightning like this. It would be, I'm sure, over by now. But again, still a large gathering of people. We can see the Capitol here. Look at all that lightning again. So I'm going to recap what we've got going on here with these tornado warnings as Jacob gathers more information as well. And I'm just going to do something real quick here. All right, here, we'll just get this going. Okay. And as far as any heavy rain that is going to be staying out of Bismarck itself, downtown Bismarck anyway, but again, I'm going to turn the velocity back on because that's what we're most concerned about. So it looks like things are doing pretty good here for Bismarck itself. This is moving closer to perhaps Minokin.
An important note that with both of these warnings, a couple minutes ago, they were confirmed tornadoes. So there was weather spotters reporting to the Weather Service that there was a tornado on the ground. Now both of the warnings are just radar indicated rotation.
Meaning there's no more tornado likely on the ground.
But there still is rotation aloft at cloud level, so a tornado could form again
anytime.
From
that's
these
right,
storms.
And that's hence the warning, right? So
that's why the warning remains in place.
Exactly right.
Even though it's not the higher level of warning, the confirmed tornado on either of these, you still want to be in your safe place if you're in those tornado warning boxes.
And again, look out Minokin. You're on the edge of the tornado warning, pretty much right to the doorstep there. But that's where the circulation is a bit more intense. Bismarck proper, things are settling down, despite a lot of lightning, of course, but the threat for a tornado, I think, is ending with this storm. So that's good in the Bismarck Mandan Metro. Look at some of these impressive hail reports from earlier. Again, the Crown Butte Lake area, baseball-sized hail in McHenry County, east of Carlsruhe. West of Hanover, tennis ball size hail, along with south of Douglas, south of Max, golf ball size hail, along with the Strawberry Lake area. So impressive amounts of hail, unfortunately, with these storms, as we've been predicting all day long. We didn't know exactly who was going to have the most hail earlier today, but these storms have pretty much formed about the time we thought they would, and we would know that there would be some large and damaging hail. Now, brand new tornado warning was just extended here. I'm going to get some information on that. That's populating live on the air here. Again, this is downstream of Bismarck. I know it's kind of busy. It's getting messy here, but I'm going to get some information on this.
Go to Skywatch.
Okay. Skywatch. We might actually have a tornado. Let me go back. Here, hit the view button.
There we go.
Okay.
It was illuminated by the lightning for a
Oh,
second
my
there,
gosh.
just
Okay,
to the
hang on,
right
just-
of the Capitol building from this perspective, looking off towards the east. Got to get this loaded back up. So
Okay, can we pan the camera a little bit? I'll take
Yep.
care of this. I can't pan it from here.
and it looked
Oh, wait,
like
hang
just
on,
a,
hang on,
a
hang
funnel
on.
cloud,
I'll just do this.
but still something to be aware of, something concerning. And this would be to the east of the Bismarck metro area, but certainly
Yeah.
some lowering there and funnel
We have
of some sort.
Connection we're trying to get reestablished here, so bear with us for just a moment here. We'll see how this
And
turns
it looks
out
like
here.
it's not there anymore, but from this perspective, it was just to the right of the Capitol building. And that would have been with the storm that's now around the Minokan area. So still a very vivid lightning show here.
Yes, and the lighting itself is probably interacting with our camera, and that's unfortunate at the moment. But you can see some of that illumination way east of Bismarck, way down there to the right. You can actually see it a little bit better here.
Down in this area.
yes,
When the lightning
yes.
illuminates it, yeah.
So yeah, pay attention here. It's really hard to see. Not the lightning that's overhead in Bismarck, but the lightning that's way off in the distance here, closer to Minokan. It might be very hard to make out here, but we're going to zoom in anyway if I can get control of this camera. Is there anything, Luke, that you want to pass on? Okay.
We're getting in some tornado video from the cell north of Bismarck a little bit earlier. So we are preparing that to show on air. But again, both of these
I
tornado
lost
warnings continue. We're going to go back to radar briefly.
If you want to do that, I'll take
Tornado
care of this.
warning has been extended here in parts of Burleigh County. And
Do you have that ready to go?
this, I need to finish it up there.
Okay, go ahead. I'll take
Okay.
care of this. All
Just
right.
switching off here, and we're going to be able to get this in.
We want to
our
get this
system.
new tornado picture for you here. But again, this tornado warning, again, at times possibly illuminated a funnel cloud to the east of Bismarck, closer to Minokan. And that would be about this area because our Bismarck camera is on the west side of Bismarck at BSC, so looking due east here, and that would be about this area here. So again, if I turn on the velocity, that is exactly, I'm sure that's what that was. That is exactly where we are beginning to see that tight circulation. So Minokan, get to your safe place no matter what here, because that circulation could very well be right there in Minokan or very, very close by, with a tornado warning continuing here for Burleigh County until 11 o'clock Central Daylight Time. All right, so we don't want to forget our friends here in Emmons County. Again, we've got circulation now crossing over or basically on top of US 83. It might be weakening somewhat though. But
Right
a
over Lincoln, though.
Linton, a tornado warning does continue though until 11 o'clock. So again, we're still seeing some circulation. So we've got two storms here that are rotating. These are those rotating supercells. Again, Bismarck proper, you are not in the area of concern as much as around Minokan right now. I think we're okay in Bismarck Mandan at the moment, but again, don't let your guard down in case we get some more development. I'm going to go back to the regular radar and just show you here where things are lining up, turning off lightning, because there's so much lightning here. And again, I'm going to put a motion on this. And again, I'm going to
That cell north of Bismarck kind of took a dive south
did
at
turn,
one
yep,
point,
and then it
but
went, yeah.
Then it went to the east-southeast.
Yeah, look at
and
that over Minokan there. That's a really good classic signature there.
So Minokan, certainly you want to be in your tornado safe place,
Could be
but
another
now
one
moving
here.
east of the Bismarck area. So kind of just dodged the metro
There could
itself.
be another something here popping up southwest of Steel. Hard to say here at this
Another
perspective.
hook
Possibly,
developing,
could
yep.
very well be. So we could have multi-tornadic storms, a possibility.
And all three of these cells are on the southern edge of the line that's shifting eastward, and that's where the greatest spin is in the atmosphere, the greatest instability. We still have humid air, so
That's
that
right.
can allow these storms to really intensify quickly. So we got in some video from North Bismarck of earlier. This isn't happening right now, but the tornado was on the ground, it looks like, from this video. This was taken just before the 10:30 time frame.
So during the newscast, we had this
I believe
taking
so.
place.
I believe so.
Right, okay, all right. Yeah, because you can see on the radar, you can see that tight circulation. So this is very impressive. Again, this is that storm that was back in Oliver County again, that moved into northern Burleigh County. Can you tell here whether it's a tornado? It's hard to say, but I would venture to bet that is a tornado. You can see outflow from the where this person is taking this video. Look at the trees moving around. Can't tell how far away this is. Any reports of how far this might have been away?
This was at 10:32. We got the
Okay.
confirmation of the time. So that was the situation when the rotation within the storm was a little tighter. Then it weakened a little bit as it went just northeast of Bismarck. But rotation could tighten back up. Tornado could drop down once again around the Menoken area. That's why that tornado warning was extended into parts of southeastern Burleigh County. So certainly areas around Menoken and Sterling that you're in that tornado warning. This one is now observed again. So this tornado warning for Menoken and Sterling down to Long Lake, if it tracks in that direction, confirmed tornado near Menoken. Tennis ball size hail also possible with this storm.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about the Menoken area here. Get to your safe shelter now, because this, again, could very well be a dangerous situation. We got a confirmed tornado again. So
on the ground near Menoken right now.
Yeah, and look at that circulation. I'm going to go back here and turn it back on. Right on top of Menoken right now, within the past minute or two. So if you're in Menoken, get to your safe shelter, get to your safe place right now.
Interior room,
venture out.
Away from windows.
Away from windows. Basement would be ideal. Storm cellar, but I know we don't have too many of those. But just make sure there's as many walls between you and the outside as possible. It just takes one tree to kill somebody.
So weather spotters,
anything flying in the air.
Weather spotters confirmed this tornado at 10:47, so just 5 minutes ago. It was reported crossing Interstate 94 near Menoken. Power flashes were also reported in the area. So that's a confirmation that the tornado is on the ground, went over some power lines, power poles, and toppled those to create the power flashes. So certainly critical situation happening around the Menoken area because of at least some damage to power infrastructure for power flashes to happen. But confirmed tornado, again at 10:47, this was reported by weather spotters to be crossing Interstate 94 near Menoken. And that's going to continue to track to the southeast at 20 miles per hour.
And you can really make out the general area of where this would be here just by looking at the velocity scan. And again, down in Emmons County, the same situation. We got a pretty tight circulation going on here, not far from Linton. Again, right on top of 83, maybe a little bit east of 83 now. So again, just if you're in the Linton area, seek shelter. If you're in the Menoken area, seek shelter, because these are confirmed tornadoes at one time. The one that is confirmed right now is that the Burleigh County one. So keep that in mind here, because again, that is a residential area, and a lot of people live there. So hopefully everything is okay at the moment in Menoken, but we're giving you a heads up to just to know there's a tornado warning here, and don't venture out. Please don't venture out for the sake of video or photos. It's dark out there now. A lot of lightning out there that's illuminating the sky. But again, that is dangerous in and of itself.
If you want to go back to reflectivity, the normal product that you see on radar, just a classic hook shape.
I'm going to go back there. Yeah.
On that storm. And right where that hook shape is where the tornado is going to be happening. And that's right over the Menoken area. If it continues on its current track, it would be just to the south of Sterling, but Sterling, you are in the tornado warning, so you want to be in your safe spot. And if it holds together, it would be around Long Lake, not too far into the future. But right there over Menoken, you can see that C shape. That's that hook that produces the tornado, and we do have that confirmation of the tornado happening.
And it does appear that this circulation is perhaps moving in toward the Long Lake area. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Just kind of looking at this and tracking it out here.
You could also have tennis ball sized hail to the north of the tornado.
Yeah, this is a classic supercell. Look at the structure of that to the north of the interstate there. So on the interstate, we're probably going to have at least tennis ball size hail between Menoken and Sterling. That's going to be a problem.
We turn on the hail detection here, and you can really see that pinpointed just to the north of where the tornado would have gone through, north of Menoken, moving down towards McKenzie and Sterling with the hail core from that storm. And with the Linton storm, still some hail over 1 inch in diameter. This storm is no longer to be a confirmed tornado, but the tornado warning does continue for about 4 more minutes. So that remains in place. You want to remain in your shelter until it expires, but the rotation, thankfully, has really weakened with that. We can just see more of the greens, the bright greens, instead of the reds and the greens right next to one another like we had just a few minutes ago to the west of Linton. So that tornado warning will likely be allowed to expire, but that doesn't mean that this cell is done producing tornadoes. It could drop another tornado as it shifts off to the east. But still, the most concerning signature was around Menoken not too long ago. The rotation is still fairly tight, but not quite as intense as it was as it crossed I-94 near Menoken when that tornado was confirmed.
Yeah, it's a concern here, again, for the Menoken area, but maybe not as much, but still, just don't let your guard down because the tornado warning continues here, moving toward Long Lake here. And again, we can maybe see that circulation tightening up south of Menoken now. So this may have crossed over Menoken. Hope there's no tornado that took place, but a lot of circulation on top of town here the past 10 minutes.
Yeah, right there where you see the reds and the greens together. I want to go back to the normal radar product because there was a little bit of back building that happened, and that's how this cell formed that's now over Menoken. There was a couple of supercells that passed just to the north of Bismarck, but cells formed behind them in their wake, possibly from their outflow. So that's the cool winds from the rain that comes down, and that can spark more thunderstorm development, sometimes behind and in the same path that the initial cells passed over. So we just got a new tornado warning for that cell just to the north of Bismarck. I was identifying that, and just now that tornado warning popped up because of that spin that's still in the atmosphere to possibly create a tornado here. This would be just to the north of Bismarck. We're going to put a motion on that, and it could be sliding down to the southeast, particularly impacting the northeast side of Bismarck if it were to be on the ground. Now, we are rather close to the Bismarck radar, so that's something that we need to be aware of in terms of assessing these storms. That tornado warning will expire in a couple of minutes, but we do have this one in the Menoken area as well as around Sterling. That continues, if I shift this far enough over, until 11:15. So something to be aware of. This warning back towards the northern side of Bismarck will likely be allowed to expire. This cell that I was talking about back building likely doesn't have enough rotation to produce a tornado just yet, but we're going to continue to watch that closely. The most concerning cell is still the one around Menoken. So the Bismarck area itself, within the main metro population, some of you are still under a tornado warning, so you still want to be in your safe spot, but the greatest risk is to the north and to the east of the main population center of Bismarck. But we do want to obviously keep people informed outside of Bismarck, around the Menoken area, that still could be impacted by this tornado that was confirmed at one point. The rotation would be still right around the Menoken area, maybe now moving just down to the south. It's becoming a little bit more cluttered here. So we're not seeing as tight of rotation as we did just about 10 minutes ago as it passed over Menoken. The greens and the reds aren't as bright or as close to one another, but the tornado warning will remain in place until 11:15. So something to still monitor as it tracks down to the southeast. But good news is that in the Bismarck area itself, even though there's a little bit of that back building factor up to the north where that shower has developed, north of kind of the intersection between 1804 and 83.
Non-severe.
It's non-severe at this point, and since it's in the wake, like right behind the first cell that's now over Menoken and Sterling, it probably won't have as much of the atmospheric ingredients to produce a tornado or as large of hail. So,
and what we want to do too is, now that it's 11 o'clock here, we want to just clean this up a little bit, and Bismarck no longer under a tornado warning at all in the town here.
Yep. So threat shifting east of Bismarck. We can say
still
that
Menoken. I mean, that's still pretty wild.
areas Menoken, Mackenzie, Sterling still under this tornado threat, and that tornado warning around Linton that was extended. That continues until 11:30 now.
Yeah, look at that circulation still. It has
kind
not,
of re-intensified a bit.
Yeah, see, these might be pulsing, and so we got basically twin areas of circulation here. And by the way, before I forget, I just want to thank everybody. I think I've gotten 50 photos in just the past half hour of that tornado north of Bismarck. My phone's been blowing up from friends that are sending me pictures and videos and everything, so we're all getting that. But thank you very much. At skyspyphotos.com, we got to go through all these later on. We'd like to get more on the air, but we all get the idea of just what's going on here. And again, these two distinct areas of circulation with these two tornado warnings, again, near Menoken, and again, just to the northeast, or basically east, I don't know why it's doing that, but east of Linton here. So I'm going to zoom in, and again, we'll turn on the regular radar, and the heaviest is going to be, perhaps of the baseball-sized hail is going to be east of Linton. But again, Strasburg area, you as well, under this tornado warning, which has been extended, as Jacob said, until 11:30 Central Daylight Time, with that circulation on the west side of the system. And then back here, again, that Menoken system, Burleigh County, it's impressive because we can see it on the radar scan, and we can see it on the velocity too. This storm south of Steele is not a tornado-warned storm, but likely producing very large and damaging hail south of Steele, southwest of Tappan at this time. And no doubt, these storms are producing a tremendous amount of lightning, for which I'll turn off because it's just so much lightning. But again, pretty impressive, I must say. And I hope everybody is heeding the warning here and taking this seriously, because that's why we're here. It's exactly why we're here, and staying on the air to let you know that, again, it's a critical situation when we've got two tornado warnings with, in fact, confirmed tornadoes. So it's important to remain weather aware, as we've been saying all day today, and to obviously take this seriously. And again, all the videos and photos from a distance, but it has been impressive tonight, Jacob, with everything that's gone on. And all these storms that have been producing tornadoes.
Well, when we got that tornado watch issued earlier this afternoon, the reason they went with the tornado wording instead of the severe thunderstorm watch was because of the amount of spin in the atmosphere to produce these tornadoes. And we've seen at least two now touch down, the one around the Hanover area in Oliver County, as well as now the one that was around Menoken. Might have touched down as well to the north of Bismarck, but certainly a night that has featured numerous tornado warnings, as well as very, very large hail. We've seen many, many reports of golf ball-sized hail, tennis ball-sized hail, even up to baseball-sized hail, as we were alerting you to earlier this afternoon, because of the amount of instability in the atmosphere. And fortunately for Bismarck proper, a lot of the storms missed to the north and to the east. There might have been some people on the northern fringes of Bismarck or northeastern areas of the capital city that were impacted, but the main population center was fortunate that a lot of these supercells just tracked to the north or to the east of town.
Kind of interesting thing on look at that, north of Linton. Again,
like you said, it's almost stationary and wrapping around itself.
You can kind of see it wrapping around itself there with those two systems that are converging here. And it's interesting, just north of Linton, and at a time over Linton. That's fascinating. And the fact that it's not moving very fast. So again, turning on the velocity here, you could just make out that circulation just as plain as day. Not as intense.
It was a lot tighter earlier,
The rotation
certainly stronger, and that's where the confirmed tornado with that one came from. That warning is now for radar indicated rotation instead of weather spotters confirming that tornado. The verbiage on the warning for southeastern Burleigh County is now for radar indicated rotation. So again, that's good news that weather spotters are no longer confirming that tornado.
It looks like a little bit of a circulation over Sykeston too, but that might be more aloft. But that's a little bit of a signature there as well. It's a thunderstorm warning, but you get some of the reds and greens pretty close together south of Sykeston. And if you just kind of look at the imagery as it's rotating through, you can kind of see a counterclockwise rotation to it. So there is definitely a bit of a spin and probably aloft. Again, at the moment, no confirmation of anything other than a thunderstorm warning. But still, thunderstorm warnings, they can turn into tornado warnings in no time. Any thunderstorm can have a tornado, so keep that in mind here, especially with the amount of instability we have in the atmosphere with what we call vorticity and everything going on. A lot at play here that is providing for this very active night. Now, lining up along and to the east of US 83, except for that storm here, which is still west of 83 in Burleigh County, having moved through Minokan. And I'm really hoping that everything was okay in Minokan. I keep checking my phone just in case somebody has texted me.
And that warning continues for about 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes, okay.
Southeastern Burleigh County.
If anybody's in the Minokan area, if you could send me a private message on my meteorologist, Kevin Lawrence, just because I have it on me here, to pass that information on. Lots of photos from North Bismarck with that tornado. But again, I just want to make confirmation that we do have everything intact in the Minokan area. And again, with that circulation, getting ready to approach the Long Lake area. So if you are around Long Lake on 83, take shelter. You are technically in a tornado warning. And
now the rotation is more broad now than it was earlier.
North side of Bismarck earlier, again with that tornado. So a lot of photos coming in here. Wish we could get them all together right now. But we are aware, obviously, a tornado with confirmation. So again,
that was north of Bismarck.
That was north of Bismarck.
And that was the same cell that would have moved through Minokan.
Correct. Yes, that is correct. So that did produce
and we
tornadoes.
Have a new tornado warning south of Steele.
Okay, so that's the one I was just kind of questioning about.
Yeah, it formed another hook.
It did here. I'm going to go back. We got the circulation. So we got three systems going on here at the same time. So we're going to stay on here. Again, this, fortunately, rural areas, but I'm going to go ahead and query it anyway. I'm going to turn this on. Tornado warning. Let's see here. Let's just get some information on this. Obviously for Kidder County until 11:30 at 11:06. We're talking 2 minutes ago. This is a radar indicated tornado. No confirmation like we've had with some of these other ones, but radar indicated. And again, we can see it here, radar indicating the circulation 9 miles south of Steele or 34 miles north of Linton, moving southeast at 20 miles per hour with the potential for up to 2-inch diameter hail. That would be larger than golf balls, smaller than tennis balls. And again, this is a radar indicated. So this is a very, well, southern Kidder County, pretty rural anyway, but again, on Highway 3, a tornado warning here. Again, we can really see that circulation. We've got the one back to the west.
I want to pass along some important information that our news director shared with us from the Burleigh County Emergency Management Director. The Sheriff's Department in Burleigh County is requesting no travel in southeastern Burleigh County due to the quote, extreme storm activity. So don't try to drive down towards the Long Lake area because of the rotation that is still evident on radar and the tornado warning that is still in effect. But no travel is advised or no travel is requested into southeastern Burleigh County due to the activity that we have ongoing. And that confirmed tornado passed over I-94 around the Minokan area by now about 20 minutes ago. And this tornado warning, I believe all of them are now radar indicated tornado warnings, which you still need to take seriously. But we did have a couple of those confirmed tornado warnings earlier. Large hail possible in the McKenzie towards Sterling area. Keep that in mind.
Again, that storm is just dumbbelling right through Sterling here and within 5 minutes or so. So again, Sterling, you are under a tornado warning. That's the most important thing, more so than worrying about damage to your vehicles, but that is a possibility with large and damaging hail.
Tennis ball size hail is the verbiage for that warning.
All right, and then in southern Kidder County, we have at least 1 inch in diameter hail. Again, rural areas, but let's say 48th Street Southeast, in that area here, some pretty large hail, and that's coupled with 26th Avenue Southeast, again, southern Kidder County. And then still looking at some hail returns here east of Linton now. So again, on pretty much over Highway 13 here, a chance for maybe 1 to possibly 2 inch diameter hail. So Linton, you're still under that tornado warning. I'm going to go back here to...
Main circulation's moved east of Highway 83 now.
Which is good.
Yep.
Yep, that it definitely has, as you can see. But that crazy spin continues.
Shifting south to near Strasburg.
It is.
So you're under the tornado warning, Strasburg, and the rotation might be shifting within the storm down to the south.
Maybe more aloft now.
Yep.
Again, it's just strictly guessing here, so we don't want to guess and say you're off the hook, because you're definitely not. But everything is shifting southeast of Menoken and again toward the Long Lake area. I'm just going to check my messages here and make sure that we're okay here.
And turning back on kind of the normal mode for radar, showing where the heaviest rain is, and of course all of that lightning, just so that we can see the radar product, turning that off as well. And then we're going to zoom in to, again, the 3 tornado warnings that are still in place. The one in southeastern Burleigh County continues until 11:15.
Everything is good in Menoken from somebody.
Okay.
Getting a lot of messages. Appreciate all the messages. I can't respond to them personally about is so-and-so going to have a tornado since we're on the air here, but thank you for all the messages. We appreciate it, but glad to hear that Menoken at the moment is okay.
And the one in eastern Emmons County continues until 11:30, and the tornado warning in southern Kidder County also continues until 11:30. Also, don't want to forget about people up near Bowdoin, Carrington, Woodworth, seeing
Sykeston area.
Sykeston.
One of my Sky Spies there I've known for a long time, Troy's reporting that several funnels reported in the Sykeston area here with marble-sized hail and about 55-mile-per-hour wind. That's the one we were talking about. See that? Look at that circulation there with several funnel clouds reported. So I'm surprised the Weather Service has not issued a tornado warning for this.
We're a little farther away from the radar
site. A little bit. So this is a loft, right? But the fact that several funnels were reported by a credible source. So again, treat this as a tornado warning if you are southeast of Sykeston, if you are southwest of Carrington, perhaps in the Melville area, eventually Edmonds. Again, a circulation is headed toward your way, getting out of our viewing area here, but toward Edmonds eventually, maybe the next 20 minutes or so.
And certainly heavy rain, lots of lightning. And that cell is warned for golf ball sized hail for the Sykeston, Carrington, Melville area, moving down to the southeast. Want to zoom back out on radar, going to turn off the lightning product again and hone in on these 3 tornado warnings that are still in place. Still a little bit of a hook echo there at the tip of the white arrow east of Linton. And if we switch over to the velocity product, the rotation certainly isn't as tight as it was around and just to the west of Linton.
Jacob, I do want to say I got a new note here that all was well in Menoken. That could have been at the moment, but earlier, just got a text here saying, just spoke to a friend who said the tornado ripped through their yard. So there was a tornado in Menoken. So, and they were seeking shelter, getting to a shelter rather, a short while ago as this was crossing over in the Menoken area. So it does look like a tornado, unconfirmed, but moving through or very close to Menoken here.
And we had those other weather spotter reports of it crossing I-94 and the power flashes that happened earlier. This warning, the initial warning was going to expire at 11 o'clock, but now the Weather Service has added another warning kind of on top of this just to extend it until 11:15 because that circulation is still fairly tight just to the northwest of Long Lake. So this tornado warning continues for parts of southeastern Burleigh County until 11:15. And just wanted to pass along the message again from the Burley County Emergency Management Department that the Sheriff's Department for Burley County is requesting no travel into southeastern Burley County due to the quote, extreme storm activity.
And it's very true because, again, we're getting confirmation in southeast Burley County, possible tornadoes here, east central southeast Burley County, excuse me. And again, with this new tornado warning as well in Kidder County, so it keeps getting extended out.
And down into northern Emmons County as well. The
Correct.
tornado warning kind of clips that part, just in case that cell dives down to the south.
The most impressive thing away from radar, though, is this. Again, south of Sykeston, southwest of Carrington. Again, a pretty tight, see, there's some convergence there a little bit, too. So, I mean, pretty impressive. So, hopefully everything is okay there in the Sykeston and Carrington areas. So, but it is a severe thunderstorm warning at this time. And again, we're not an agency that issues the warnings. That is strictly the Weather Service. I guarantee you they are monitoring it extremely closely. Many thanks to the Weather Service meteorologists for all the hard work they're doing tonight. It's amazing, all the coordination going on. Not only that, but at the Storm Prediction Center in Oklahoma, keeping a very, very close eye on our area tonight.
And highlighting this area in south central North Dakota for having the greatest tornado threat. So kind of pinpointing that risk and letting you know ahead of time. Now, I wanted to mention with the storm around Sterling now, there's a little bit of that back building just to the northeast of Bismarck, but that likely won't turn severe as the storm right around Sterling is, so to speak, using up all of the energy in the atmosphere, as well as the storm in Emmons County east of Linton, because sometimes in these situations the southernmost storm becomes the most intense.
That's very true. And I'm sure people in Napoleon, Logan County, McIntosh County, you're wondering, are we next? And I would say that is a very good possibility.
Now, this storm is still very, very slow moving.
That's the thing. It's slow moving, but if you're in Wishick, you're in Ashley, Zeeland, look out. Stay weather aware. You don't have a warning right now in these areas. I'm going to keep turning this off
And
here.
what can happen with very slow moving thunderstorms that are severe and possibly producing a tornado is that they can have deviant motion, so they can kind of move erratically instead of just going in one direction. Kind of like what we saw around Linton with that circulation dancing around. Wherever the circulation tightens up in the thunderstorm cloud, that could produce another tornado as it goes down to the southeast, because that's the southernmost storm in North Dakota, at least. There's more storms farther south, but that has some of the most rich energy coming in from the south.
And kind of think of it like a spinning top, right? After it starts to lose some of its the tight spin, it kind of wobbles. Mm-hmm. That was kind of what was happening there north of Linton there for a short while. So again, just different perspective here with the velocity, different color
scale,
I guess, if you will. Here, you can really kind of make out. That circulation is east, really it's east of Linton now. Linton's okay, but east of Strasburg, and again, eventually moving into McIntosh County. So if it were to hold together, maybe west central or southwest McIntosh County. I'm going to turn to a different color here, and just to kind of highlight even more so, look at that circulation. It's really evident here. I mean, east of Linton, and now maybe not as intense as it was, but you can really make that out. Actually two of them. Look at that. You got one maybe move a little bit toward the left there, so it's a possibility.
Earlier we had a storm that split in two.
Yeah, right. So that might be two circulations going on there.
I wanted to mention, though, in southern Kidder County, we just got a report of a confirmed tornado there. So at 11:11, a confirmed tornado was located 9 miles south of Steele, moving southeast at 20 miles per hour. So the warning is for that tornado that is confirmed and 2-inch hail. We also got a report of a tornado southeast, 8 miles southeast of Driscoll. But these tornado warnings...
Right here, you can kind of just make it out. You can just see where that circulation is.
Wow. Pinpointing it based on these reports and then looking at the velocity mode here inside the storm. Incredible.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing.
The rotation looked to be a little more broad in the last couple of radar scans, so
like
the tornado might have been brief.
Yeah. I mean, these tornadoes might be literally 30 seconds. I mean, the circulation might be greater a lot, but they might briefly touch down, make contact, and go quickly back into the cloud. That's hard to say. I mean, just because we see circulation like this does not mean there's a tornado. A lot of this is aloft. It's above the ground, right? But I mean, there's still, as long as there is a circulation, it is a cyclonic rotation, indicative here anyway, that we continue with the threat for tornadoes.
And we got another confirmation of a tornado. This was confirmed at 11:13. A confirmed tornado was located 6 miles southeast of Menoken, moving southeast at 20 miles per hour. So this would be with this rotation that we see, or at least the brighter green colors. There's some of this purple color is the contamination from the radar because we're so close to the radar site. There's kind of a sweet spot with radar in terms of distance to get the best data in order to determine where rotation is. But if we're talking that this weather spotter confirmed the tornado 6 miles southeast of Menoken, that would be right around that area. And that would be moving to the southeast at 20 miles per hour.
And that was 11:11, is that correct?
That is 11:13.
11:13, okay.
So about 7 minutes ago. And we can play this back. I'm going to just kind of scrub back on the timeline. You can see how it might have briefly tightened up right there.
The dark, or the greens, the bright greens and the really the bright reds together like that is where there's a really tight circulation and the highest probability when it's really tight like that of a tornado.
And that's that couplet that we've been talking about with a few of these other storms. Now, again, possibly getting into a little bit of that contamination from the proximity to the radar site, but still, this tornado warning now has the confirmed tag on it in terms of elevating it in terms of severity. So certainly you still want to be in your safe spot in Long Lake, as this could be heading somewhat in your direction. Kind of hard to tell or pinpoint exactly where that rotation is now, but if you're in the tornado polygon, you want to be seeking shelter, no matter what. Just
Burleigh
as
County, Kidder County, Emmons County.
Just as a safety measure.
Absolutely.
Now, all of the warnings are east of Bismarck, so just wanted to mention that for now, and probably through the rest of the night, Capital City looking okay.
And I will say that this event is going on longer than I expected with respect to tornadoes. I really thought that we would see more of a straight line wind.
That all the storms would cluster together. They would form into a line, but they're staying individual, and that's why they can continue to produce tornadoes.
They're still discrete, and that's the thing. Now, last week we had all the QLCS. Now there's a tornado warning.
Up by Carrington, we were identifying that cell earlier. Now this is kind of in between the Bismarck and Grand Forks radar sites. So we're scanning pretty high up in the storm, and again, a little bit of contamination with the data, but you can kind of make out a little bit of the reds and the greens together just to the south of Carrington.
Yep, 7 miles southwest of Carrington, moving southeast at 25. So this one's got a bit more momentum to it. Tornado and golf ball size hail is a possibility with this, but as I mentioned with our Sky Spy in Sykeston, earlier funnel clouds were reported. And so that could be one reason why with that confirmation this is a new tornado warning. Carrington proper not in the warning, but south of Carrington in the warning. Again, that does include the Melville area and Edmonds as well. So tornado warning for that area, but again, not necessarily in Sykeston. Okay, I'm just going to do this.
So the tornado warnings in Burleigh and Kidder counties continue to have that confirmation component on them at some point within the last 15 or 20 minutes. Doesn't mean that the tornado is still on the ground right now, but still have 4 tornado warnings in parts of central North Dakota. So that's why we remain on the air.
Yep. So Foster there and Stutzman, and then we got this one obviously for southern Kidder County. Circulation might be letting up a little bit, but that's a warning until 11:30 for southern Kidder County. And again, just really interesting how on this velocity scan, I mean, we'll go back to the regular radar in a minute, but you can really just make out with this high definition color scheme that we've got here.
It's almost like they're rotating about each other.
It's an interesting, like a multi-vorticey thing, but again, with individual supercells here, and again, maybe you kind of look at it and it
like one went back to the northwest,
yeah, right.
almost.
And then look at south of Sterling. I've not seen anything like this for a very long time personally. Can't remember the last time.
Because sometimes with hurricanes you can get it's called the Fujiwara effect,
Yeah,
a little
right.
technical, but the hurricanes rotating about each other. I don't know that that was the case here, but certainly fascinating and
a lot of meteorology.
different deviant storm motion. So the tornado might not be tracking in a straight line. It could be during a curlicue or curving back. That's why the warning includes a larger area than the tornado itself is going to be moving over, just because even as we're pinpointing the exact location of the tightest rotation in the storm, it doesn't mean it's going to go directly to the southeast. It could curve back up to the north or to the south, like we've seen with a few of these. So that's why if you're in a tornado warning, you do want to be in your safe spot no matter what, no matter if it was a confirmed tornado, just radar indicated. Treat these storms seriously as we continue to go into the night, and that makes it even more dangerous because you can't see.
Nocturnal tornadoes are the worst.
Now the threat, again, missed the Bismarck area proper itself. So Bismarck itself looks to be good for the time being and probably through the night, as most of the activity is now shifting east of Bismarck.
Yeah, which is really good here. So,
but still, we have many, many tornado warnings in place. That's why we remain on the air, even though it's not impacting the Bismarck metro itself.
Yep, that's right. And actually now there's some redevelopment of thunderstorms here, rather intense, back toward Hazleton. So we'll keep an eye on that. Not technically in a warning of any sort in this portion of Emmons County for Hazleton, but those storms just blew up probably on an outflow within 10 minutes. So again, just given how fast and how violent the atmosphere is tonight, who knows? We could be talking about some circulation with this storm on Hazleton, on top of Hazleton, anytime now. So we're going to stay with this.
And I was talking about Bismarck being okay, but there is a little bit of that back building factor too, behind the storm that produced the tornado around Menokin. Now, most of it staying to the east of the Bismarck area, but watching that closely too, because any of these cells that form on an individual basis could possess some rotation. Now, the concern at hand is, of course, the tornado warnings that still remain in place. The tornado warning in parts of Burley and far northern Emmons counties has been extended until midnight now, so that goes for another 33 minutes. And Sterling, Long Lake, you've been under a tornado warning now for probably 45 minutes, and you'll still be under a tornado warning for another 30 minutes. That's just how slow this cell is moving, and not really wanting to get out of southeastern Burley County anytime soon.
No, it's really not.
And this, in all seriousness, though, has been a confirmed tornado again. That's why the Weather Service likely extended this tornado warning for another half hour. So the latest data, again, back at 11:13, it was a confirmed tornado, but it still remains that way in the warning language that it would be observed. So you want to treat it that way, that a tornado could still be on the ground in far southeastern Burley County.
Jamestown, you've got a severe thunderstorm warning as well. This has been issued and goes until 12:15 in the morning, Saturday morning, or about the next 45 minutes or so, with the potential here for obviously large and damaging hail. This storm is moving toward the east at 30 miles per hour with ping-pong size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Not looking at a tornado in Jamestown, but perhaps ping-pong size hail. And again, this warning goes in Stutsman County until 12:15 Saturday morning, or about the next 45 minutes. Again, just recapping what's happening south of Carrington, tornado warning with reports of funnel clouds south of Sikeston here a short while ago. Counties included, of course, Foster and Stutsman County. And then we've got this cluster of tornado warnings here, still continuing in the Sterling Long Lake area of Burley County and south of Steele for Kidder County as well. for the query here, and for the storm here in Emmons County continuing until 11:30, or about, well, I guess about 50 seconds or so. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
here.
so there's a couple of warnings that should expire within the next minute. That one in Emmons County, as well as the one in southern Kidder County. So we'll see if the Weather Service extends those warnings. I would guess that they would just issue severe thunderstorm warnings as the rotation is broadened there a little bit. Also wanted to pass along some important news that Napoleon has no power. That is according to a viewer that sent us an email. So even though Napoleon itself didn't see a very strong thunderstorm pass over,
could be lightning strike, could have been an anvil lightning strike, hard to say. Logan County, so Napoleon without power, or at least parts of Napoleon.
Correct.
And again, we're going to see what happens here in Emmons County in about 4 seconds and see if this drops off. If it does, then that is no longer going to be a tornado warning. There it goes. It dropped off, so we don't worry about that. We'll see
Same
what happens.
thing, southern Kidder County. That tornado warning is gone, so we just have the one in southeastern Burleigh County, as well as the one in the Melville area. That would be around Foster County, northern Stutsman County. So southeastern Stutsman County.
At the moment, we have 2 tornado warnings in effect here, and again,
sorry, northern Stutsman County.
South of Carrington there, Foster, Stutsman County. Not Jamestown, though. That's a severe thunderstorm warning. Still take it seriously, but not looking at rotation there. And again, southeast Burleigh, still pretty good rotation, and no doubt the vivid lightning remains here from Bismarck-Mandan. You can see it toward the east very, very vividly. And again, severe thunderstorm warning for southern Kidder County, not a tornado warning.
And I've been mentioning that even after one of these tornado warned cells passes over your location, you might not be out of the woods because there's been back building or development behind the first cell, like we saw around the Linton area, as well as to the east of Bismarck. But this was the tornado that occurred
North
Bismarck, yeah. And this was the same cell that tracked over the Minokan area as well. Vivid lightning shows you've, I'm sure, been able to see out your window at home because these storms are still rather intense just to the east of Bismarck, and many areas in Emmons County, southeastern Burleigh County, Kidder County, and then moving into parts of Logan and McIntosh counties, as well as up towards parts of Foster and Stutsman counties. Certainly getting a good light show, as well as some torrential downpours. There is the threat of some flooding with these storms because of how slow moving they are. So you have to watch that closely as well. And the large hail threat continues, although there's some clustering of the storms farther up to the northeast. That back building is what I'm talking about right here. So another cell developed behind the tornado warned cell. Fortunately, it developed to the east of the main population center of Bismarck, but another round for Minokan where that confirmed tornado was nearby. And there was reports of it crossing I-94 at one point.
And no circulation in Minokan, so now we're talking about the potential for just a heavy rain event.
No longer in the tornado warning in Minokan, thankfully.
And we'll turn the lightning on here, and again, well, not as much lightning as typically with in the proximity of a tornado, but still, lightning can kill. Bismarck-Mandan, we are not seeing anything at the moment. I just don't think this is going to back build all the way, but remember, still active jet stream tonight.
So it's not out of the question.
So we might get thunder showers at sunrise, really, anytime tomorrow. But there is a chance for actually another wave coming in from Montana later tonight that could give us some scattering of showers and storms. But really, the severity of the activity tonight is ending up here east of US 83.
And the tornado watch for much of central North Dakota ends at 1 a.m. So really, within the next hour and a half is when we should see these storms to continue to be severe. Now that tornado watch might be extended, especially in eastern North Dakota, as these storms continue to shift down to the southeast. But the couple of tornado warnings that we still have in place include Sterling and Long Lake. We just got another confirmation of that tornado at 11:12 p.m. 2 miles west of Minokan. It was reported by Burleigh County law enforcement.
Let's go into Logan County now with a new warning here. Yeah, that's a big one. That's one warning.
So that warning continues until...
So that's Logan and McIntosh County. Not in Wishick, not in Napoleon either, but for Logan and McIntosh County, Emmons County as well.
So for another hour, because the storm is just so slow moving, we could see, again, some flooding in these areas.
Yeah, this one is currently 9 miles northeast of Strasburg, 10 miles east of Linton, moving southeast at 20. They're beginning to propagate a bit farther toward in that deeper, rich air. So this is what's going to be happening probably the rest of the night. They're going to start picking up some steam here and more of an outflow or more of a straight line wind event transitioning here into the night as these begin, I believe, to congeal more or consolidate and not be so single cellular, so to speak. And actually, you can kind of see that going on now. Might become more of a mesoscale convective system here.
So that would
next several
involve
hours.
the more damaging wind threat. Probably not to the caliber of what we saw a week ago tonight.
Correct, yeah, right.
But some of these warnings have the verbiage of 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts. So
Could be on its way toward Fargo late into the night here, and again, more of a straight line wind event, more so than a tornado event, perhaps late into the night. But this is all going to be tracking into the southeast quarter of North Dakota and then South Dakota and Minnesota. Probably long-lived here. Again, not to the extent of the derecho of last week, but well over 200 miles as far as, as the line itself is a possibility from where it began.
So still this tornado warning until midnight for parts of southeastern Burleigh County, northern Emmons County. Looking inside the storm at the rotation, really nothing stands out in terms of tight rotation. If anything, it would have passed just to the east of Long Lake. As I kind of back this up in time, you can see a little bit of the rotation possible around the northern side of Long Lake and then just to the east of Long Lake. Now, there might have been some more rotation that developed in other parts of that storm, but that warning is going to continue for 24 more minutes for radar-indicated rotation, as well as 2-inch diameter hail.
Can we go back to Hazleton for a second?
Yes.
Because that storm is just really blowing up on top of Hazleton in Emmons County as far as the reflectivity. That's the storm there, yeah. So Hazleton,
I see.
It's really, really beginning to pick up as far as the returns here, just to the south of Hazleton. A pretty strong core there. Could very well be some damaging hail, I fear, here on, or just in the proximity of Hazleton here. If we can turn on the hail detection there. And
Not super impressive right now, but
that's the tracks. Like go to the.
sometimes
Okay,
when
so
a thunderstorm just
takes a
initially
while.
develops,
Takes a while.
it takes a while for the algorithm to catch up. And sometimes with the initial updrafts with the thunderstorm,
It's too strong. It hasn't dumped yet.
right,
So.
the hail is still circulating up in the thunderstorm cloud. So
And that's new. This is a new storm. This is a
Correct.
new maturing thunderstorm here. So
now looking at the velocity mode, the winds inside the storm with the other tornado warning that we have in place until 11:45. That's for another about 10 minutes in parts of Foster County and northern Stutzman County. Hard to tell where the rotation would be just based on the distance from the radar here. But looking at the normal reflectivity mode on radar, you can really see the amount of lightning there, as well as the damaging wind threat, because the warning is for 70 mile per hour wind gusts as it tracks down to the southeast. Now these might not produce as many tornadoes as they go into the night because they're clustering more together, they're congealing a bit more. What we had happen earlier was the storms were more individual, and that's how they were able to form several tornadoes in parts of south central North Dakota. So kind of a good news situation in respect to these storms possibly forming into a line. You can almost see possibly the initial edge of that line trying to form here. And then damaging winds are more likely into far southeastern North Dakota. So remaining on the air because of these two tornado warnings in place. The one in southeastern Burleigh County continues until midnight. And then there's possibly even stronger thunderstorm here in southwestern Kidder County. Severe thunderstorm warning in place for that one. And that would be south of Driscoll. Golf ball sized hail, possible south of Driscoll, south of Steele. Put a motion on this, and you can see this was actually part of that storm that produced the tornado all the way back in North Bismarck,
right.
and then in Minokin. And now the tornado threat isn't as great as probably the hail concern east of Long Lake. I'm going to put the hail track here, and you can really see where
Yeah.
the largest hail fell.
And again, right over I-94 too, between Menoken and Sterling.
Correct. Sterling possibly being impacted by large hail a little earlier, and now just to the east of Long Lake. Still somewhat of an impressive hail signature with the cell that passed over Linton, now moving into western McIntosh County, and we also have some hail up with these cells around the Carrington area, but not as impressive with those currently. So those two products that I was flipping back and forth between, hail tracks shows us what happened in the past, and then the current hail detection product is where the radar is determining where the largest hail is right now. So going back to the main mode of radar, we can see where the strongest cells are and where we still have those tornado warnings. I wouldn't be surprised if the Weather Service drops this tornado warning, just because there's not a whole lot of rotation and the strongest part of the cell might have moved into Kidder County. But there is still a little bit of that hook appearance to the cell back south of Sterling and north of Long Lake. Now we have to match up this mode of radar with the velocity mode, and that has to be at the same place. Now, we're also rather close to the Bismarck radar site, and that can introduce some contamination, which is those purple colors that you see. But there might be a little bit of rotation trying to pick back up here northeast of Long Lake. So that's why, likely why, the Weather Service still has this tornado warning in place until midnight, is because of that possibility that another tornado quickly spins up and drops down. And many of these tornadoes, I think, tonight, Kevin, haven't been on the ground for too long.
Exactly
the one we
right.
saw north of Sweetbriar Lake or south of Hanover was on the ground for 10 minutes.
That was
might have been the longest
about 10
one.
minutes, around 7:45, 7:50 or so earlier this evening. And that's the one, too, that in the Hanover area produced up to baseball-size hail. So that's that was our beginning stages with that one storm that was just south of Beulah that we were monitoring right about the time we were going on the air, or at 5 o'clock, thinking, you know what, we got to start paying close attention to this here. And that's really what got things going. And then east of Minot, and now everything is ending up here to the east of US 83 for the most part. Although, yeah, again, the back building here, I think Bismarck, we're pretty much done. You can't even see the outflow kind of going back toward the southwest here. So,
and everything was forming along the cold front today. So behind the cold front, really no storms have been forming in western North Dakota.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And just again, some of the hail reports here, again, as mentioned earlier, we've got baseball-size hail from the Crown Butte Lake area in McHenry County, tennis ball-size hail Hanover, south of Douglas, golf ball-size hail south of Max. Many, many reports of the tornadoes, of course, here, as seen here from south of the BNI Coal in...
that was in southern Oliver County, northern Morton County.
Yep, this one here again, 5 miles southwest of Hanover. This particular image here was from south of Hanover as well. And again, a lot of photos received. We probably have received about 200 more photos and videos just since we've been on the air covering this here nonstop for over the past hour now. And I just want to say we appreciate every single photo and video, and we appreciate all the reports. It's a collaborative effort, and we simply could not do what we do if we didn't have viewers like you keeping us informed on what's going on. We greatly appreciate it.
Kevin and I are here, but the rest of our First Warn Weather team helping out behind the scenes by accepting the photos that you submit to skyspyphotos.com.
Right.
So
check that out.
Hundreds of photos submitted there.
And again, real quick check here. Models are really persistent of wanting to still keep some things back post-front into central North Dakota. We'll see if that pans out, but they just will not be as strong as that ahead of the front, where the air, the instability, the CAPE, or the available potential energy in the atmosphere is a lot greater than behind the front. But still a chance for a scattering of showers and storms, mostly cloudy here for Saturday morning, and then a bit more sunshine in the afternoon, but an isolated storm threat does remain. And then it looks a lot better here for Sunday. Less humidity, a lot of sunshine, a system coming in from the north, but that should stay mostly in Canada, but providing a bit of a breeze for us. So again, tomorrow morning, 60s for the lows, highs in the mid to upper 80s. It is going to be a nice afternoon outside of the scattering of showers and storms. but likely not severe. Quick check of the 7-day forecast here. And again, looks like fairly calm weather beyond tonight. Highs in the 80s for the next several days, including the 4th of July here. But by then, as we would expect, a chance for a few showers and storms, but we'll keep a close eye on that. Before we wrap it up here, again, just want to show you the live imagery here from our Bismarck Skywatch camera. It's vivid lightning, but not in Bismarck. The camera is pointed toward the east here, again, with almost continuous lightning from BSC, looking to the capital and well to the east in the eastern Burleigh County. When it illuminates there, it's just phenomenal, the lightning that we are seeing. That is for certain. And again, checking on the latest here with the latest on the storms here. I'll put it in motion. Still have one couple of tornado warnings here. That one south of Carrington here, and the other one here for the Long Lake area in south and east of Sterling here. Still potential for some rotation.
The one south of Carrington
is
going to expire right now.
Yep, that's going to be dropped off.
Yep, it's gone now.
Already. It's
and the one in southeastern Burleigh County will expire in 14 minutes.
Okay. And
that rotation is a lot broader now, so it's not as much of a concern as it was half hour ago around the Minokan area.
Okay, and again, just
new severe thunderstorm warning there south of Steele.
Yep, south of Steele, got a new warning there. So again, back toward Napoleon, now we got a new warning. Again, this one here, again,
very large hail possible.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, quite evident there. You can definitely see it there on the radar imagery between Braddock and then Napoleon here. So Logan County under that severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see what the potential is here.
Golf ball.
Golf ball size hail. Yeah, maybe even a little bit larger. But golf ball's 1.75 inches in diameter. So that is a possibility, as again, this storm could be making its way back toward Napoleon here over the next couple of, or I should say maybe the next 20 minutes or so.
Now, I did want to mention, as we're dropping people off of the threat for severe weather, that the tornado watch has been trimmed back. So this initially included areas west of Bismarck as well as up towards the Minot area, but since we're not expecting severe thunderstorm development back in these areas that are not shaded in red, that's why the tornado watch was canceled in those areas. But the tornado watch does continue until 1 a.m. For parts of southeastern North Dakota, east of the Missouri River. Bismarck is technically in the tornado watch, but the threat for any more severe storms in the capital city is rather low for the rest of the night. Most of the activity is going to remain to the east, and these cells are still moving somewhat slowly. They're trying to pick up forward speed as they congeal together and possibly form into a line, but we haven't seen that line of storms form yet.
No line yet, that's right, but we can definitely see the convergence factor here with that cluster north of Jamestown, between Carrington and Jamestown. Storms are beginning to merge here, and will continue propagating toward the east-southeast. So Fargo likely in for some activity in the next few hours here. But again, these storms are beginning to, here, let me just turn that off here.
They're not weakening quickly like we would sometimes expect after sunset, but there's so much energy still in the atmosphere. There's strong winds aloft, what we call low-level jet coming in from the south that is providing the moisture source as well as the spin in the atmosphere to keep these storms going after sunset.
That is very true. And despite the fact that we still have that tornado warning, it looks like the threat might be diminishing somewhat now and just becoming more of a hail threat and, of course, a heavy rain threat as well. I think we're going to wrap it up here, Jacob, unless you have any final thoughts. I think
it's been quite a night, though.
We appreciate you staying with us. That is for sure. It has been quite a night here in the First Warn Forecast Center. Definitely appreciate all the reports, all of our pages, social media pages, including the station pages, KFYR TV, meteorologist Jacob Moores, meteorologist Kevin Lawrence, Heidi Arosta, Megan Chatter, the entire team. We're getting a lot of photos and videos, skyspyphotos.com.
Check them all out.
A lot more we got to get posted here, and we will be doing that. So we'll be sharing a lot more of this information during the course of the weekend. Jacob, thank you so much for your work tonight. We're not done monitoring the activity. We'll just take a break here from being on the air, and we'll come back on if necessary. Otherwise, we'll be on social media and keeping you weather aware in that way. And make sure you have our First Warn weather app and, as well. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night and a great weekend. Thank you so much for staying with us.
You've been watching a live special report on NBC North Dakota News, your news leader.